Hello. I don't really make YouTube videos anymore, but I was feeling inspired to make one in this very moment. What's new? Well, I'm crawling out of another depression slump, and I prayed yesterday, and I prayed today, and whenever I return to myself, I find myself going to the river, trying to ground myself by being outside, and praying, and just being allowed to speak my mind freely without judgment. Swimming. I've been trying to implement swimming in my life more frequently, especially because a lot of my habits, a lot of my passions tend to be more stationary. And yeah, I just went into a depression slump again, and it feels like a switch goes off in my brain is how I explain it. It feels like sad Ariel takes over, and I get very hard on myself. I definitely don't go into those mental spirals as often. Just in general, I feel like I don't allow myself to think as much as I did before, and I feel like I just really have to recognize my progress in those moments. And one kind of mantra that I like to repeat to myself whenever I become depressed is to, when faith starts to slip, so does everything. You gotta ground yourself in that faith. You gotta return to yourself. You gotta remember what's there. And I don't think of kind of like the physical constructs that men have built, but I think of, nature and sunlight and laughter and the sound of the river and my dog. I think of those things, and I remind myself that I'm not my feelings and I'm not my emotions. And it's difficult because I feel like a lot of the time, my progress doesn't have that credibility because a lot of the changes that I've made feel like they haven't been sustainable. They don't really feel like they've stuck. They don't feel like they've become enforced habits where they become part of my prolonged daily routine. And so, it's hard for me to believe that I'm making progress when I return to those habits. And I feel that having that humility that comes with faith, having just those even brief moments of surrender where I just say, I've had anger in my heart, or I've had bitterness in my heart, or I've been doubtful. And just being able to kind of admit that to myself has been very helpful to be able to kind of recognize that. I also have this sick bracelet that my friend made me, and it says fart collector, because you know me, that's me. I'm the fart collector. But bro, I look like fucking Humpty Dumpty right now. I cut my bangs too short, but it's fine because they grow back. And apparently, some people like micro bangs. I've been working, and I also have a book coach to help me with my world building because it feels like it's getting very large, and I feel like I need some help. I feel like I need a long-term collaborator. It's $240 a week, which is, not super affordable for a college student that works like 2 to 3 times a week. But it's fine. And I definitely feel like it's worth it, especially for, the quality of service that my book coach provides. He's very experienced, and he definitely knows what he's doing. I trust him. I've only literally had one meeting with him, but I just feel like it resonates and it works out. And I'm very kind of grateful to have someone on my side. And comparing to other book coach rates, I feel confident, I feel good about it. I think that it's worthy investment, especially because my book is something that I care about a lot. But when I get into those depressed states, I forget about kind of what I'm passionate about. And I kind of just slip into an all or nothing mindset where I just think, if I'm not doing this, then I'm not doing enough. That's kind of the basis that I return to, is I'm not doing enough. I'm not being enough. And that's a lie. And I understand that the chemicals in my brain are funky, and you just gotta keep going. And to be fair, to give myself credit, yes, sometimes, I do have those fleeting thoughts of like, I don't want to exist anymore, I don't want to be here. But I don't feel like they're as frequent or they're as intense as they used to be. And I kind of just look back at, like, my tendencies with self-harm and punishing myself emotionally. And sometimes I'll slip into states where I, neglect myself. When I get depressed, I don't get enough movement. I don't have proper nutrition. My sleeping schedule gets very out of whack. But I'm not deliberately punishing myself anymore. And I'm not trying to, or creating a plan to end my life. And I feel like that's progress. I feel like I need to recognize that. I definitely feel like the praying helps. I feel like the swimming helps. And I think that getting up at an earlier time would help. And my boyfriend, he started a CNA program. And so I think that, secondhand, he could kind of help me get on track by me aligning with his schedule. Probably not getting up as early as he does, but getting up, closer to that time when I'm with him. And having iced coffee, which I made iced coffee today. And so having iced coffee really, really helps in the morning. Also helps me save money. I mean, I don't usually go out and spend money on coffee, but I just prefer it over any other coffee. I feel like it's higher caffeine content, and it tastes yummier, and it's iced. So, but yeah, that helps. And also today I tried to remind myself, like I was saying, that all or nothing state. Because the chemicals in my brain get wacky, and because I have a tendency to align with bipolar traits, and I am not medicated, and I have not been medicated for a long time, definitely feels like I'm riding a roller coaster. And when I do good, I do really good, and I tend to kind of go all out. I'm like, oh, I should get movement today, I should eat better today, I should do this and this and this, and then I tend to go all out, and then I tend to get burnt out. Like with my book, for example, I was just feeling very, very creatively inspired, very creatively driven for like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And so I was literally working and world building and researching like 4+ hours like every single day. And I definitely felt very burnt out, and I think that contributed to kind of going into that depressive slump. And so I think it's also happened to be mindful of not just the nothing states, but the all state, because that tends to get, kind of creates this like frenzied, frantic energy in me. And just gotta remind, slow down time to time. I'm also taking a summer class right now, just one, because I don't want to overwhelm myself, and it's cultural anthropology, and I really, really like it. And I didn't touch the course material for the first like 3 or 4 days of the class, which I felt pretty guilty for, because I'm usually pretty adamant about, staying on top of school and my grades and coursework and whatnot. But it's really cool. It's very thought-provoking. It's very engaging. I like the discussion boards. I like the way that the teacher kind of formulates things. I feel like it's still a bit challenging. He has a broad use of kind of educational materials that you can use. And yeah, for being an online class, I feel like it's generally very engaging. So, but yeah, and I cleaned my room today too, so that feels really nice. I was thinking about maybe going on a walk or working out, and that's the all or nothing thing I was talking about, where it's like I already swam today, and I was like, that's okay, that's enough. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to kind of talk about things. I like to have these videos to look back on and kind of see where I've been at. And I think that one day I'll really appreciate it. I feel like occasionally, I'll make videos, but I just don't post them. But I was thinking, as a way to kind of like process and remember information, probably not with an online class, because I don't plan on taking it seriously as a class that I would go to in person. But when I do start taking in-person classes again, like specifically psychology, I was thinking about making videos about what I'm learning, because, making a video would be different, elaborative rehearsal techniques, to kind of enforce that knowledge in my brain. So, anyway, and, this is a reminder for you too. If you struggle with those downs, if you struggle with depression, if you struggle with the all or nothing states, remember to return to yourself. You gotta remember, you gotta just listen, go outside, go to a place that is comforting, that's familiar, that's outside of your depression or mentally unwell zone, and just listen and remember that when faith starts to slip, so does everything else, and that faith can be anything. Usually when I say a prayer, I like to kind of address whatever I'm thinking of. So I say, to myself, like today, I said, like, to the Ariel that I remember, to the Ariel that I forget, to the Ariel that isn't me, and in a more comforting way, in a way like I'm nothing. It's not a bad thing. I'm just not attached to anything. Allow myself to not be attached to anything. I say to whatever I can hear in that moment, I speak to the emotions inside of me, I speak to the feelings in my body, and I think that praying that way is very formative for me. It's very emotionally progressive in those moments. It allows me to kind of just slow down and feel, even when it's overwhelming. It makes me feel like I'm heard and I'm listened and I'm witnessed to. And then at the end of the prayer, I say thank you. I say thank you to the universe. I say thank you to whatever's listening. I say thank you to the sensations, to what I'm feeling in that moment, both physically and emotionally. And I say thank you to myself, and I say thank you to God. And so that's a reminder for you that whenever things start to slip, to return to that faith, to return to that belief system that kind of gives you higher meaning in life. It allows you to return to kind of this basis of stability, even temporarily, and just understand that that's enough. Just breathe and feel what you're feeling in that moment. So, anyway, thank you for listening. And future Ariel, you got this, and I believe in you. I believe in you in this moment. It might not always be true, but it doesn't mean that faith is not credible, okay? You've made a lot of progress, and I'm proud of you, and you'll continue to learn and to grow. And that reminds me of my prayer today. I asked God to teach me how to be human. Teach me how to be human. Teach me how to feel. Teach me how to fuck up and make mistakes and learn and grow from them. And teach me how to grieve and teach me how to love. So, and then I thanked God for the opportunity to grieve and to love and to feel everything and to feel nothing at times, and to learn how to be human, and for living. And I'm grateful that whoever's on the other side right now is alive as well, because it's tough out here. It's hard being human. So I see you.